Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys checking out today's video. And guys, today we're going to be talking about one of my all-time most sentimental favorite lures that still catches a ton of fish, and that's the old Rapala here, guys. This thing has been around forever, and I got some stories I want to tell you guys about this thing. And also, guys, I want to give you some tips and advice on fishing it, because it is still a deadly bass catcher. It doesn't get used very much anymore, but under the right conditions, guys, they will still hammer a Rapala. So we're going to get into that in today's video. I'm also, guys, just a quick invitation, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and you can shoot me a private message for details there. And also, while you're there, guys, please check out my Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns in the description of this video. These are breakdowns that I've built for fishthemoment.com, the website there. Great resources to learn more about your favorite lake or get some good places to fish on your favorite lake for this fall. So I'll have all those links in the description. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, here it is. This is the number 11 Rapala right here. This thing is I've got so many fond memories about this thing. I can't even begin to tell you. There's 3 different sizes that I have used primarily. You can see all my Rapalas there in the top. But I started out, some of the first bass I ever caught my entire life was on a little bitty Rapala, the one that's about half this size here, wading creeks. I'll never forget, I caught a 4-pound bass down this little bitty tiny creek down at the bottom of the hill from my mom and dad's house on a little Rapala. I remember when I was probably 13 years old or so, I remember throwing that little Rapala out in like a deep pool in this creek, and I twitched it a couple times and this fish come up and grabbed it off the surface. It was a 4-pounder, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. But that Rapala, it was the mainstay for me when I first started fishing. But what happened is I started utilizing it later in my tournament career, and I had several really good tournaments on it. There was the 1988 Bassmaster Invitational at Lake Guntersville. I finished 7th place in that tournament. It was 87 or 88. But anyway, I finished 7th place in that tournament, and I should have won that tournament big time. Every fish I caught was on a Rapala in that tournament. Rick Clunt, I think, won the tournament, but I lost a 7-pounder and a 5-pounder on it. And then I've used it down in Florida. I've used it in a lot of different situations you know, when they won't bite anything else when they bite this thing. Now, first of all, this is a subtle balsa minnow. It floats up really fast. Also, guys, I'll link it in my Tackle Warehouse link if you guys would like to pick one up there. Black and silver is the only color you need. They make a bunch of different colors, but this is the only color you need, black and silver. But anyway, let me explain to you guys where you want to fish it and how you want to fish it. As far as in the modern day era, something you can actually practically do right now. There's 2 different scenarios where this Rapala is going to work good. The first scenario is if you have shallow vegetation. And now this shallow vegetation can be anywhere. I have caught them all over Florida. I've caught them in the Potomac River on it. I've caught them in the Pascagoula River on it. Anywhere that you have water visibility of, say, at least 2.5 feet. I prefer water visibility around 3 feet for this is perfect. Shallow grass, where you've got these quiet areas where the grass is shallow and the water's shallow. Say, for example, the water is 2 to 3 foot deep, and you may have some grass growing up off the bottom, something like that, or maybe little openings in the grass. If you have a calm day where there's not much wind at all, and you have grass like that, and you have water temperature anything over 60 degrees, take that little Rapala out there, throw it out there, let it hit the water, let it set there, until the ripples dissipate, and then just twitch it a couple times like that and make it just go underwater maybe an inch and let it float back to the surface, and then just barely twitch it. Try to get it just barely twitching on the surface. You're fishing it like a topwater bait is what you're trying to do. Guys, those fish will come out of nowhere in that calm, shallow, grassy water and annihilate that Rapala minnow. This is a lot of the guys in Florida, they know about this trick. They don't talk about it very much, but I can't tell you how many good fish I've caught on that in that situation when you can find something like that. Now, the second way that I've done good on it, and the second way I like to fish it, again, it revolves around grass again, and that is when you have a little bit deeper grass, like grass, say for example, like submergent hydrilla or milfoil, water visibility of say 2 to 4 foot, lakes like, say, for example, the TVA lakes, Chickamauga, Gunnersville, any place that's got submergent vegetation, take that Rapala minnow, guys, and fish it hard like a jerk bait, like jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, jerk, pause. And you don't want to let it pause hardly any at all because it floats up, but you want to jerk it real fast where the thing's just going all over the place. And if you put it on like an 8-pound test line, it's going to get down that number 11 or the number 13. It'll probably get down maybe, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 foot on a long cast, something like that. But guys, there's something about that quiet balsa bait that's real subtle. It's not like a regular jerk bait that has noise. It's a quiet bait fished in and around that shallow hydrilla and milfoil. They'll like to take the rod out of your hand with that. One of my buddies, Randy Mosley, from up here in Missouri, he's the one that got me on that. He used to catch them all over the place with that. Another place you can catch them, guys, is like, say, for example, in the springtime of the year, you can go to the back of the coves, like when the fish are getting ready to come up, getting ready to spawn. You can take that Rapala and just work along, just a bare rocky bank with it and do the same thing. Just twitch it, let it float to the surface, twitch it underwater, let it float to the surface. One of the ways I like to fish it is when I'm twitching it, I like to keep it like where it's sort of fighting to go underwater, but it keeps coming up, but you're jerking it like that to where it's sort of fighting to go underwater all the time. And that they hit it really good like that a lot of times. There was another tournament I should have won, guys, too. We were fishing a FLW a tour event down at the Pascagoula River, and I made the top 10 in that tournament on the Rapala. And the top 10 day, they used to cut from 10 and then they cut to 5. The top 10 day, I got back in my little backwater slough there, guys, and I had like 4 or 5 big ones on, and I could not keep them hooked up. They jumped off, they pulled off. Probably would have won that tournament if I had just got them in all again on the Rapala minnow. And most of the time I fish it on 8-pound test, Seaguar Vizex fluorocarbon, just a spinning rod, 6'11" spinning rod. And it's sort of like nobody fishes anymore. It's sort of like a forgotten bait, but man, you get in the right situations and they will still hammer that thing today. So anyway, guys, hope it helps you catch a few, and we'll talk later.